Baltimore nigga, and with a DC nigga, and he was like, "Yo, anybody that know DC and Baltimore don't fuck with each other. It
Yeah,
ain't
they
like
don't.
that."
Especially in the, you know what I'm saying? Especially
and didn't see me, make sure y'all come out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna stay after the fight and take pictures for a couple people as long as I can.
Officially, it was announced on Sunday that Gervonta Tank Davis would be defending his World Boxing Association lightweight title against Lamont Roach in December. Of course, it's no secret that many fans and boxing professionals don't find the matchup pleasurable, as it is one of those many fights that wasn't demanded by fans.
I know sometimes, like Canelo, I'm sure he doesn't want to go to your rivals, doesn't want to talk to us and all our questions, but is that part of the obligation of
Say it one more time, my bad, pardon.
Just basically, you know,
As it when Gervonta Davis knocked out Frank Martin in June, no one would have guessed the name, Lamont Roach, as Tank Davis's next opponent. Gervonta Davis had boasted about his 7-fight deal and how he intends to make the most of the deal by fighting the very best in and around his decision.
I would have to go with Tank, though. I would have to go with Tank.
Lamont will be moving up. What would he have to do to make that fight?
Oh, he moving up?
Yeah, it would be, he's the champion.
But it is what it is. It's Gervonta Davis coming up against Lamont Roach. The announcement on Sunday wasn't bereft of intensity and actions, as TGE pair of fighters had their first face-to-face. And while it usually would involve a stare-down and the two fighters conjugate together for a shoot, this was way more than that. Both fighters carried more than just a stare-down. Davis carried the beef that recently broke out between him and Lamont Roach and wore the provocation on his face, like he was impatient to wait till December to do the needful. Gervonta Davis, though quite small, is facing Lamont Roach with a more impressive career and a fuller boxing resume with 30 wins in 30 fights, including 28 knockout victories. More impressively, the Baltimore champion has never been knocked down. And despite the fact that he gives away early rounds, he has always found his strategy into coming back into the fight with that destructive. He has fought 27 fights in all, with 25 wins, a draw, and a loss. Clearly, Tank has the edge here. What's more is Lamont Roach's punch power, which may be quite good, but hasn't seen him get a good enough knockout ratio compared to his opponent who has a heavy hammer in his hand. Gervonta Tank Davis is officially set to return as prior reports suggested, as he'll defend his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach on December 14th from 130 pounds, where he is the reigning World Boxing Association title holder, having beaten Hector Luis Garcia last November. Roach made one successful defense this past June, beating Fergal McCrory in a Pro Box main event from Washington, D.C. The 29-year-old Roach has won 6 straight overall, following a loss to Jamel Herring in a World Boxing Organization title fight back in 2019.
At 30.
Oh, okay, yeah. I have to go with Tank.
What does he need to do to make this competitive?
Don't trade with him. You got to box. Box, move, time up. But it's different.
Baltimore's Davis is ranked ESPN's 8 pound-for-pound boxer. He is coming off a spectacular 8-round knockout of Frank Martin in June. The bout was Davis's first since a 44-day jail stint last summer for violating the terms of house arrest stemming from a November 2020 hit-and-run incident. While Roach is a quality fighter, it would be dishonest to say this is what anyone was hoping to see for Davis, who is one of the sport's biggest box office stars, but has been accused repeatedly of avoiding true top opposition.
When you fight Tank, man, it's difficult when you fight him. Tank sets you up with all types of shots, man. And also, like I tell people, Tank can box when he want to box.
Davis, 29, has fought once this year, stopping Frank Martin in the 8th round on June 15th in Las Vegas. The fight will headline a PBC pay-per-view from Prime Video. It is expected that Alberto Puello will defend his WBC super lightweight title against Sandor Martin on the undercard. Davis, 29, was in negotiations to meet future Hall of Famer Vasily Lomachenko in a high-stakes bout this fall. But after talks collapsed, Davis ended up with a far less appealing bout.
Okay. I know you're at 130, right? But if the right fight presented itself, would you consider maybe a big fight at 35 if the money was right?
Most definitely, the money was right.
Roach will be moving up from 130 pounds, where he reigns as World Boxing Association champion and is ranked No. 5 by ESPN. Against Davis, he'll be installed as a major underdog. Davis, from Washington, D.C., won the title with a split decision victory over Hector Luis Garcia in November. Roach retained his belt with an 8th round technical knockout of Fergal McCrory in June.
at 30.
Oh, okay, yeah. I have to go with Tank.
What does he need to do to make this competitive?
Don't trade with him. You got to box. Box, move, time up. But it's different.
While this matchup may not be the fight fans had been hoping for, Roach is a highly skilled boxer who could potentially give Davis a run for his money. Whether or not this fight lives up to expectations remains to be seen. Roach is on a run of 6 victories since then, including one over former Tank Davis foe, Hector Luis Garcia. The main concerns with this matchup stem from Lamont Roach's lack of recognition, his smaller size, and his unproven knockout power.
If there's a championship on the line, because those belts are freeing up.
Yeah, they are.
Definitely, for sure. I'm not a super small 130 pounder.
Yeah.
Moving up in weight is already a tough challenge for any fighter, but Roach faces an even greater hurdle against one of the hardest punchers in the lightweight division. However, the World Boxing Association has granted Lamont Roach Jr. permission to move up to 135 pounds and challenge Gervonta Tank Davis on the 14th of December.
When you fight Tank, man, it's difficult when you fight him. Tank sets you up with all types of shots, man. And also, like I tell people, Tank can box when he want to box.
Davis has become one of boxing's biggest stars, known for his exceptional talent, ring intelligence, and fight-altering power. Due to his dominance, the World Boxing Association permits Davis to handpick opponents from the super featherweight division to defend his lightweight title. This practice is seen as unfair to the 135-pound contenders, as it allows Davis to extend his reign by selectively facing weaker opponents from a lower weight class, undermining the competitive integrity of the sport. When multiple outlets reported the news of the Davis-Roach clash, it sparked quite a negative response from boxing fans around the world.
When you fight Tank, man, it's difficult when you fight him. Tank sets you up with all types of shots, man. And also, like I tell people, Tank can box when he want to box.
They wanted to see Davis go beyond the second tier and test his talent against the other top names at 135. Roach's legitimacy as a fighter and challenger to Davis is still in question. Fans were not kind to the news, as they were expecting something big from Tank. With his current form, there were so many opportunities for a potential dream fight that could have sold stadiums out. The news visibly frustrated one fan as he wrote, "So Haney just came out and said he could have been ready to fight in October. Tank couldn't send him an offer. He couldn't send Teo an offer. Shake my head." The fact that Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney were also looking for their next opponent, and yet a deal could not be reached, just made the announcement all the more disappointing for the fan. Both Haney and Lopez were in talks for a fight in Riyadh in October, but the latter was not ready at the time. So, December would have been perfect for both of these boxers to get back in the ring, and a fight against Davis would have been a very big pay. Similarly, another fan was surprised by the news as he wrote, "This better not be true," as soon as the news broke out.
Here are the styles.
I got Shushu boxing a little bit more than.
Another frustrated fan directly questioned the quality of the match and threw shade at the premier boxing champions. "This is not breaking at all. Another trash fight from PBC. This is going to flop so bad at a $90 PPV will be streamed," wrote the fan, slamming PBC over the choice of opponent for Gervonta Davis. The fan was clear that this fight did not deserve a PPV rate of $90, and Gervonta Davis could have chosen a far better opponent. In a rare sight, a fan defended Davis as he couldn't understand the reason behind everyone's anger. "If this true, can you really get mad at Tank? He's staying at 135 and everyone is ducking him in that weight class," the fan wrote, suggesting that Roach might have been the best available option for Davis. It was an entirely shocking choice, as Roach was not even in the discussion of possible prospects for Davis. Fans were expecting a big matchup, as names like Shakur Stevenson and Vasyl Lomachenko were being discussed. The obvious weight difference was one of the reasons no one considered Roach as a serious contender for Davis. With no lack of talent in the lightweight division, finalizing a super featherweight as the next opponent is sure to make boxing fans scratch their heads. And as expected, the reaction by fans was not kind to the news broken by Rick Glazer. Tank Davis's promoter has been asked severally about his decision to duck his main rivals in the division. Leonard Ellerby, speaking to Fight Hype about the less than thrilling word on the fights for Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, before Stevenson took on Artem Harutyunyan and Lopez faced Steve Claggett, said,
"Fighters, okay? It's a process, guys. It's a process. Everybody can't be Tank Davis. Okay, Like, we did that shit and doing it.
Neither one of those fights have piqued interest from the general boxing audience, and Ellerby said it's a process to build those fighters into mainstream attractions, a process which makes him unwilling to see Gervonta Davis undergo with them. Ellerby, speaking on poor fan reception for the reported upcoming fights for Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, he said, "I'm not knocking nobody's event, wish them the best of luck. And again, Arum understands how to build fighters. It's a process, guys. Everybody can't be Tank Davis. We did that shit doing it, because we know."
We did, like, because we know. It's like, that motherfucker would love to be in business with a situation where he's generating revenue.
That guy would love to be in business, in a situation where he's generating revenue. He hadn't got there yet. He got some good fighters, but everyone can't be an attraction. It's a process, and they're doing things the way they need to do as a company, and who can question any of that? Leonard Ellerby continued, "Teo's a very good fighter, Shakur's a very good fighter. Wish them the best success in their next events and what they got moving forward, but everybody can't be an attraction. That is a process over a period of time. It's hard as hell to generate fan interest. Everybody can't sell out venues." Speaking on the possibility of Stevenson joining PBC after this last fight with Top Rank, Shakur said,
Okay, he hadn't got there yet. He got some good fighters, but everybody can't be an attraction. It's a process. And they're doing things the way that they need to do as a company. And who can question any of that? That's how they...
"I can't speak on any of that. Shakur's under contract with Top Rank. He has an excellent team behind him. Bob and them know what they're doing, and they've done a very good job with his career thus far, and that's on everybody else. I don't have anything to do with that." However, this is an absolute plot twist when compared with statements he had earlier made about a possible fight between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson.
They're doing business, and I don't know anything about their events. T.O.'s a very good fighter. Shakur's a very good fighter. Wish them the best of success.
Davis recently revealed that he has a new 6 to 7 fight deal that he claims will be bigger than the $200 million contract Mayweather signed with Showtime in 2013. The Al Heyman-managed Davis didn't offer additional details about his new agreement, but he said that Shakur Stevenson is listed as a future opponent.
I don't know. Shakur's never had a fight at lightweight before. He's a tremendous fighter. I like his skill set. You guys are...
Trust me, Shakur is going to get that work. Ellerby told Boxing Scene. He's asking for it, and he's gonna get it. It ain't what he thinks it is. I can't wait for it to happen. I'm not putting a timetable on a Stevenson fight, but they come to Davis when you're the top dog. Tank has a hit list and a set of goals, and he's gonna give it to whoever is considered the top guys and get them out of the way and ride off into the sunset.
Excited, they're waiting for him to announce his next when he's coming back. You know, anything that he does, people are just excited to see because
he isn't going to be sticking around. I can guarantee you that. I wouldn't call it early retirement, just getting through the hit list and walking away as a wealthy man at a young age. Once he wipes out the division, we will come to the conclusion that Tank is the best fighter in the entire world.
No, again, the eye test, but I'm just telling you, you can't skip the steps. You can't skip the steps. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't. Yeah, it's easy to say this, and it's easy to say that, but you gotta like.
Davis and World Boxing Council junior welterweight title holder Shakur Stevenson have been building up a potential super fight with extended sparring matches on social media in recent weeks. Stevenson will be a free agent once his top-ranked contract comes to a conclusion following his July 6th fight against Artem Harutyunyan, and he's looking to leverage his freedom to land the legacy-defining fights he has been seeking.
Again, because at the end of the day, if all these guys are around, they're still around, this is what I'm saying. The fans just got to be a little patient because
Stevenson, like Martin, is a southpaw, and it appears that Davis is getting a head start in preparing accordingly for the potential slugfest. Before Davis knocked out Ryan Garcia in April 2023, he also knocked out southpaw Hector Luis Garcia in January 2023.
But he told us he was going to unveil that jab tonight, and it is really, really fast. I thought Timmy made a really interesting point before.
Then you leave yourself up.
Another feasible fight for Davis is a scrap against former undisputed lightweight champion and current World Boxing Council junior welterweight title holder Devin Haney. Devin is one of the guys on Tank's list too, and it will happen when the time comes. I can't put a timetable on it, said Ellerby.
They're going to fight. somehow the combinations of they're gonna fight. It's inevitable because again, at the end of the day, if
I'm convinced that all these guys will get an opportunity at some point. None of these guys can mess with Tank Davis, and I will stand on that. A fight between Davis and Haney would likely require Haney to stay at 140 pounds for the foreseeable future.
if you're not only saying that you're the best and you're proving that you're the best, okay, we already know Tank's the best. But at the end of the day, they got to figure all that.
Ellerbe insisted that Davis can still make 130 pounds, but for now, Davis's sole focus is on the 135-pound division as he looks to stave off the spoiler-minded Martin. Frank is a very good slick fighter with good skills, athleticism, speed, and solid power, said Ellerbe. He's one of the top fighters in the division, who is ready to lay it all out on the line. Tank chose him, and Tank is going to stop him. Tank can do it all. He's a complete fighter. He can box. He can bang. He has a great defense and can take a great shot. It's going to be fireworks and a great fight. But Martin ain't messing with Tank, though.
This is a big fight. What's considered big? What's considered big? It's a big... Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Also, Leonard Ellerbe had maintained a similar stance a while ago before the fight between Rolando Romero and Isaac Cruz. Leonard Ellerbe spoke to Marcos Villegas and talked about why he was expecting Rolando Rolly Romero to score an emphatic stoppage over Isaac Pitbull Cruz, and reacts to those who would like to see Gervonta Davis take on some of the other elite talents around his weight class. Leonard Ellerbe then explained the rationale behind him predicting Rolly Romero to knock out Pitbull. Pitbull's style, he fights one way. He's just very aggressive, and Rolly and his trainer have been working on ways to counter that kind of stuff, and he's not just going to continue to run up there on Rolly.
Tremendous fight. I'm predicting Rolly to knock his ass out.
Where does that confidence come from for you with Rolando, considering he looked...
He then added, claiming the fight would play out as an intense all-action fight. I see the fight playing out as an all-action fight from the opening bell. Neither guy is going to be sit back and bouncing around and fighting off the back foot. It's like Rolly will have some things in his arsenal to be able to counter that. He was then asked about fans wanting to see Gervonta Davis in against Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson.
A little shaky in his last fight.
Well, again, styles make fights. You don't know what Rolly was going through. You don't know what happened in his camp. You don't know none of those things. So sometimes it's like...
Tank wants all those guys. Tank wants them all. That's a fact. Just got to see how it plays out. He was then queried on if those big fights were actually difficult to make. He replied, "Don't get me started on that. Tank is focused on what he has to do, and he's going to make an announcement. When that time comes, Tank will let you guys know what he's doing. All, that's a fact. Just got to see how it plays out." As for Shakur Stevenson, there are 3 fights that Shakur Stevenson wants, but he does not feel he is close to any of them. On the wish list of the WBC lightweight champion are WBA ruler Gervonta, Tank Davis, WBO belt holder Denis Berinchik, and IBF titleist Vasily Lomachenko, and that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.